last 90 days alone, more than 5,701 newly proposed federal regulations have been posted to the government's regulation.gov website. One of them could involve Big Brother keeping a very close eye on your driving habits. Joining us now to explain is Horace Cooper, adjunct fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research and co-chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board. Horace, good to see you again.
Shannon, it's always a pleasure.
All right, so let's talk about this. Black boxes that, I was reading about this and finding out more. The amount of information that can be gathered is a little bit overwhelming. Not only where you go, but how many people are riding in your car, where you stop, how much people weigh. Who thinks this is a good idea?
Yeah, it is staggering, the amount of information that your car presently captures. The Obama administration is now going to put a target on every single American and have the information that they have, that's their personal, private information, available for people, some of them for profit, some of them for ill purposes, or just simply the government keeping this information. They promise that they're not going to abuse it, but it's nothing in the regulation that's going to stop them. Meanwhile, every single aspect about your life, your car is like an open diary keeping a record of it.
Yeah, it's when I'm reading about this, it's how fast you're driving, which would get me in a lot of trouble, but also things like whether or not you're wearing a seatbelt, which we probably all should be. But the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says we want this information. It'll tell us what happens right before a crash, and so we can try to prevent some of those things and keep people safer. So what's wrong with that?
Well, first of all, we're on a 10-year trend where accidents are going downward and loss of life has been going downward. What we don't have as our primary problem in America today is that we have a group of people get into an accident and no one will take credit for it. The federal government is claiming that is our big problem, and that's the reason why we need to do this. What they're going to do, however, is make it possible for all kinds of other personal information. Maybe you park your car across the street from your house. Maybe you are dating someone new and you pick them up on the way to work. Maybe you like to stop at Starbucks. That's all personal information. It's none of the government's business, and it won't have anything to do with investigating an accident.
And where will that information go? You said there's really nothing built into the current regulation as it's written, and it's in proposal form right now. But what would protect that information from getting to the wrong hands?
Well, the Department of Transportation promises that they are not going to abuse it, but what they haven't done is set up any process, and because they don't have the authority, they actually can't tell your creepy neighbor. He can't set up a device to intercept the data from your car. Many of these automobiles, if you have a 2012, a 13, they're able to communicate electronically or over the internet. Now, if your creepy neighbor comes over because the feds have made it even easier to access that information, what are you going to be able to do about it? This kind of data mining, if you create data, people are going to come for it. Now, the first thing I ask is, if the feds see that they need some information from your car and they look for the first 60 seconds and they don't find what they're looking for, they go the next 60 seconds, they go the next 60 seconds. What happens to stop them after 5 minutes of backup in your car saying, okay, I guess we're not going to find it? Why won't they continue looking backwards and backwards and backwards until they find it? Why won't Google, why won't other marketing firms buy this information, hire people to access your data over your objections? What are stalkers now going to do? It's open season. Now your car tells where you're going to be, where do you live, all kinds of information, and you don't have anything you can do to stop them because the feds are requiring this information to be made available.
I'm a big fan of the Fourth Amendment. Sounds like we might need a warrant in there somewhere. Horace Cooper, always glad to see you. Thank you so much for coming in to tell us all about this.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, all eyes are